What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here. And I also do sales and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and who they are outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. Her name is Sara Marshall. She is a podcaster of Pitts and Sarah, a wrestling podcast that's going on that we're going to talk about a little bit. She is also the editor of Muskrat Fire, which is a New England Patriots website where they talk about the New England Patriots. It's via affiliate of Fansided. So we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to get to know her a little bit, ask her a little bit about some of her favorite things, ask her about Crown Jewel coming up. We're definitely going to get into some wrestling talk, but we're just going to find out her why into sports, her why into podcasting, and just get to know her a little bit. Without any further ado, I introduce you the lovely, the talented Sara. Hello there. How we doing?
Hi, sorry. Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you well. How you doing
Okay,
today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for hopping on my podcast. Work hard, play hard. I really do appreciate that. How's your week been going so far?
It's been a little crazy. It's just been super busy because my well, it's towards the end of the year, so work is like, you need to take PTO. So I'm taking PTO today and tomorrow, and then I am taking my usual days off on Thursday and Friday. So I just had a lot to prepare for while I'm gone. So it was just pretty hectic yesterday, but I'm glad that, I can just chill the rest of the week.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do for work?
I write about the Patriots. I'm the
Okay,
editor at musketfire.com. So,
absolutely.
yeah, so I write and I edit the contributors' articles and stuff. So,
I
yeah.
love that. I love it. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into some New England Patriots talk for sure. We're gonna get into some wrestling talk as well. I want to be able to reiterate why I wanted to bring you on here, because one, I am a sports freelance journalist based out of Minnesota. Here, you're in the sports as well, with your podcast with you and Pitts, but also what you just said about you writing for New England and the fan sided. So I love talking to likewise people who do the
Mhm.
same that I do and have the same passion that I have. So it's amazing because we don't see a lot of women in this industry, and we should see more. It's coming. Don't get me wrong; it is changing, but the needle is moving slow. No question about that. So it's always great to talk to women, especially who are involved in sports, especially editors and people that's in a hierarchy position. So I love that.
Yeah, I like to help as much as I can to like to spread the word, just
Mhm.
being a woman in this position. And I'm actually kind of mentoring some other girls that have recently joined Fansided. So that's been really cool because I like to be able to help in any way that I can to kind of like shape the people that are trying to get, where I am and even go higher. So it's really cool to see people highlighting more women in sports. I think it's important. So I think it's really cool that you're doing that.
Absolutely, no question about it. Well, my first question, Sara, is always the same as it is with everybody who joins the podcast, and that is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models, any inspirations growing up? Talk about your beginnings from all the way up to even Woodinville High School, right?
Yeah.
Graduating from there, right? Talk about that, and just talk about why did you decide to get into podcasting and sports?
So it was never really easy for me. They when you're in high school and they're preparing you slightly, I guess, for life after that. Um, I never really knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I wasn't going to be going to college right away, so I just jumped straight into work. And I was working my way up in retail, but I knew quickly that is not what I wanted my life to be. I was good at it, but I didn't enjoy it. It was one of those situations. So I dabbled in different things. I worked in health insurance and I whatever. I did whatever I could to be making money. And
Sure.
I got to a point where you just want to do something that makes you happy. And that's something that not a lot of us are able to do for a living.
Right.
And I
Right.
was like, I need to prioritize that. I need to explore that. And that happened during the pandemic, ironically.
Mm.
So I had made a Twitter account to talk about the Patriots because I'm out in Arizona and
Right.
I needed to I needed to have Patriot fan interaction, you know? So
Mm.
um
Okay.
I created the Twitter, and one day during the pandemic, I was like, I need to figure something out that I can do in this space in sports media. I had already been podcasting and doing live streams about the Patriots. So I just asked if anyone could point me in the right direction. I got some messages from people being like, hey, do you want to write for our site? And I was
Sure.
like, that's never something I considered, like I liked to write in high school, but I was never told, hey, Sarah, you're really good at this. This is what you should pursue.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it kind of just took off from there. I wrote for a couple sites, and then I saw Fansided actually paid their contributors. So I applied there and I worked my way up to be a site expert. And this past year, I was promoted to being the editor of musketfire.com. So I've been doing that since and working hard, trying to, build myself up in this industry. And it's been really fun. So yeah, it's just a passion for me. I grew up in Massachusetts and a big diehard Patriots fan. So it's really fun to be able to take something that I was so passionate about and never thought that I would be able to actually make a career out of. I'm not playing football. So um
Sure.
it's been awesome.
I love it. I really do. I love that. I mean, I want to say that's an amazing start to this
Mhm.
podcast conversation of listening to your why. I want to also apologize for how putrid the Patriots have been this season. It's
Ugh.
just been awful. But on a high note, they did surprise a lot of people this past week by winning that game versus the Jets. The Jets are just in a downfall with their team.
Yes.
But the next question was going to be talking about the Patriots. I think I'm not mistaken. I didn't get a chance to see the full game, but I thought Jacoby Brissett was back in there playing
Yes.
over Drake May. Me personally, I think Drake May is definitely going to be the future of the team. But what do you see about this New England team that could possibly give the fans a little hope about this team maybe moving forward?
I think it's Drake May. I think he really is that anchor that has gotten the fans excited again. We knew going into the 2024 draft that they were going to be taking a quarterback. It was just a matter of who was going to be available. It was basically between Jaden Daniels, who went to the Commanders, or
Yep.
Drake May. And so people were excited because it seemed like, okay, we are finally going to have our guy. The Mac Jones experiment did not work out. So let's hope for the complete opposite of that this year.
Yeah.
And so May was exciting from the beginning. And although we knew that he wasn't going to start week one just because, the bridge quarterback decision, which I was on board for, which was
Sure.
not popular here. Um, I think once he got put in for week 6 and you could just see
The
his arm
difference.
talent, he's great. He's been looking great. And I think that has gotten a lot of people excited about the future. It's
Mhm.
looking bleak right now, like you said, but the main goal I would say is you just want to see progression. You want to see, the team develop. You want to see them get better every single week because it's not just a rookie quarterback. We have a rookie head coach, a bunch of rookie coaches on the sideline. So there's a lot of moving parts that need to continue to get better and work together and figure it out. But I think
Mhm.
that brings more excitement to being a fan because the last couple years have been pretty stagnant. So this is like a light at the end of the tunnel in a way.
I love that. I mean, basically, what you're saying is, Patriots fans, patience. Please, just give it
Yes.
patience. Give it a little bit of time.
And
Uh,
that's not common. It's very difficult for a lot of people because, when it comes to professional sports, but especially in football, it's a win now league.
sure.
And
Sure.
but that's not how it is. The Patriots had unprecedented success for 20 something years, and it's not easy to try and navigate life after Tom Brady and then life after Bill Belichick. Like, there were going to be growing pains and bad seasons, in that space. So yes, patience. That's what I keep trying to tell the fans. I'm like, guys, it's going to get better eventually. We just have to
Sure.
be patient.
And people seem to forget, as you talk about those 20 years, the Patriots only won 6 out of those 20 years that we're talking about. So that's like 30% of the time, which means 70% of the time they were losing. So
Mm-hmm.
listen, all teams lose. It is what it is. All teams rebuild. Right
Yes.
now, the Patriots are going through their rebuild. I think Gerard Mayo has done a heck of a job so far. Coaching, under the circumstances, right?
Yes.
They're in a division with Buffalo, Josh Allen, arguably the MVP of the league, and
Mm-hmm.
he lost both his starting receivers, and he's looking pretty good. Miami has Tua back. You got to think that Miami's going to be a little bit better with Tua under the helm, other than those other quarterbacks. So
Mm-hmm.
the thing and please let me know, Sarah, because the thing that kind of worries me about these Patriots is that even though they're playing bad and they're not, they have some bright spots. I don't know if they're gonna get a high enough draft pick because there's so many awful teams that's playing, like the
Yeah.
Jets, the Jaguars, the Titans, the Giants. I don't know if they're gonna beat those teams out to get even, low enough to get maybe a Travis Hunter on their team,
Mm-hmm.
maybe another running back. I mean, I like Stevenson. I believe that's what the running back is,
Mm-hmm.
Stevenson. I like Stevenson. I don't love him. I'm not gonna lie to you on that. Uh, I definitely think they need receiver help.
Yeah.
No question about that. Talk to me about maybe some guys that you're looking at that could possibly fill a spot for this New England, maybe that's playing college right now.
Well, I am not like the biggest college football watcher, so
Mm,
I'm not super familiar, but I do love the versatility of Travis Hunter because he could be a star for them on both sides of the football.
he's
Um,
good.
Joining Christian Gonzalez, who was their first round pick in 2023, having a cornerback room of those two would be incredible. Also,
Sure.
he's incredible as a receiver as well and could be a dynamic duo with Drake May, so that's exciting. um
Hmm.
I think part of it though is, you talk about the first round, and they fell from the first overall pick last week to the third because they beat the Jets. I do think they need to look at offensive linemen, because they
Hmm.
do not have a solid left tackle right now. So that's the thing, is a lot of people are looking at the receivers because they're bigger names. Everybody loves a flashy receiver, but they might have to figure something out about getting them a starting left tackle, because that is such an anchor of the offensive line. So I'm looking at any first round left tackle that they think is good enough, please bring him to me. And ideally, if they could double dip in the first round, that would be awesome. If they could figure out a way to do that, get them a first round receiver and a first round left tackle, dream come true. So I think they have plenty of options, and it isn't fun to fall from the first overall pick to maybe down to like 7, but that means that they're getting better though. That's the thing. I talked about progression. I get that we want to be higher on the draft board, but
Yeah.
if you're not getting better, adding a top draft pick, the number 1 overall pick, that's how is that really going to help your team if you're not even showing that you are getting better each and every week. So
Right.
I think that's important to remember, but people just are so looking forward to a guy like Travis Hunter and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, obviously he's one of the top guys that's going to be
Oh
coming
yeah.
into the draft, no question.
Hmm.
But listen, I like Drake May. I do. I've always
Hmm.
liked Drake May from his days back in UNC. I've loved him. The fact is, though, is that it's just not a lot of talent around him. So
Right.
yeah, the offensive line needs help. I think a lot of factors in New England need help. But the thing
Yes.
is that I don't know if they're going to be low enough to be able to get somebody. And that's just my concern. I don't know if they're going to be low enough because to me, even looking at their schedule, that they play for the remaining. I think they have 10, no, 9 games left.
Hmm.
Um, they're probably not going to be favored in a lot of those games, but they're
No.
probably going to win a couple more. How many games do you think total? Before I move on to the favorite questions, how many games total do
Ooh.
you think New England's going to win this season? Over
I
under 5.
I want to say 5 is a good number.
Okay.
Maybe 6. The thing is, we have to remember, right? They have Buffalo on the schedule twice. And it's
Yeah, that's
week
lost.
I
That's
think
lost.
they're week 6. It's like 16 and 18, I think. So very late in the year. Still have to play Miami twice. They have to play Chicago. So they do have some tough matchups that
Yeah.
they definitely will not be favored in. But they do have some easier matchups, or what should be, at least on paper, right? The Titans coming up.
Ooh,
They've
yeah.
been pretty bad this year as well. So they should be able to get a win over teams like that.
Hmm.
So I think, yes, 3 more, I would say. That's kind of what people were going into the season with, thinking it was going to be 5 or 6. And I think now that
Hmm.
we're seeing how they've played, I think it's a fair number.
I
Not
did say
great,
5.
but not horrible,
Right, I said 5, beginning of
Yeah,
season. I just thought that at some point we're gonna see Drake May because even though Brissett was starting, I thought we would see Drake May because I think he's the better quarterback for sure.
right.
I wanna ask you some favorite questions,
Okay.
and you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon some of these favorite questions, okay?
Okay.
Alright, here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Ooh. Oh, I want to say, okay, I'm not a cook. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about like cooking a 4-course meal here. But I love to make like stir fry or tacos because I could eat the entire thing by myself. So
I love it.
I love that.
I'm a huge taco person. You know, being a reporter when you're doing
Yeah.
sport, it's mainly nights and weekends. So when you're getting off late at work, you just want to whip something up real fast. So
Yep.
yeah, tacos is the move with lots of
Hmm.
cheese. Lots of cheese. No question. Okay. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Ooh, favorite concert. Okay. Ooh, what's my favorite one? Maybe my okay, so the last concert I went to, I think, was probably one of my favorites. It was a Panic at the Disco concert. I
Wow.
went to, yeah,
Okay.
in Sacramento in 2019. That was a couple years before they broke up, but they're one of my all-time favorites because I was a little emo kid in high school, so I love some, emo-ish music.
Absolutely. Panic at the Disco is one of my favorites. Hey Look Ma, I Made It. It's one of my
Yes.
favorite songs.
So good.
And also they did a song on The Greatest Showman that was one of my favorites too.
Yes.
The
So
question.
good. So good.
Fun fact, they are coming back together.
I
Because yeah, did you hear that? They're actually doing it's a huge Las Vegas show that they're doing next year. Oh, you heard about
Yeah.
that?
Yes, I
Okay.
heard about it yesterday.
Okay.
And I am probably going to be making the trip because it is the 20-year anniversary of their first album. So they will be performing that album in full. And
Yeah.
when I tell you I was a Panic at the Disco fan girl, I was a part of the fan club. Like, let me tell
Right.
you, like that's how deep my fandom goes. And I never got to see them in concert for their first album. So I'm like, okay, now that I'm older and it's 20 years later, which makes me feel so old, I have to go. So I
I'm
might go
with
there.
you. Well, listen, if you're there, because I was definitely thinking about it too. A couple of friends brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
Being that it's Vegas, being that it's
Yes.
October, being that Blink 182 is going to be there. We're talking about
Yeah.
like all my like middle high school stuff that we're talking about here,
I
like Blink
know.
182, Avril Lavigne, Weezer, all those bands is what I really liked. So especially Blink 182 because they're from my hometown of San Diego.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely considering going there for sure. No
Yeah.
question.
It
No
looks
question.
like it'll be so fun, and tickets go on sale this week. So it feels like it's like you need to decide quick. So I'm like, I guess
Yeah,
if I'm gonna buy tickets, and then if I don't go, I don't go, but at least I know if I want to, I can.
absolutely. No doubt. I love that. I love that. Okay. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Ooh, I would say Italy. I went to Italy
Hmm.
when I was in 4th grade. Uh
Wow.
wasn't yeah, the end of the trip wasn't great. I caught a really bad stomach bug. However, not many 10-year-olds can say that they got to go out of the country and went to one of like the most beautiful places ever. So I'm
Not at
hoping to
all.
go back as an adult now that I can indulge in the culture and the wine and all of that. So
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
it was so nice.
Now, what kind of wine person are you? I'm more of a Cabernet kind of person.
You know what's funny is I'm not a wine person, but I'm like, if I'm going to become a wine person, where better than in Italy? Like that feels like that's where you're gonna get the best
Right.
wine, so why not?
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Start your wine stuff there in Italy. I know the Bay Area is not too bad with wine either. They
Mhm.
can pick some good wine out there in the Bay Area. No
Yeah,
question.
Well,
Okay.
Napa's not too far, right? So,
Right, right. So you know what I mean? So
mhm.
absolutely. Sport question. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV, favorite sport you like to attend in person. Can be the same sport.
Ooh. Okay, I love to go to football games and to watch football, but I feel like there's no better seat with football than at home because you can see everything. You're not trying to deal with the people in front of you or whatever. You can just hear everything that's going on. Um, Even though I'll be going to a game this year. But I like watching basketball in person. I went to a
Mm,
Celtics game a couple years ago. I might go to a Celtics game when they come play the Suns in March, but it's just so fun because the game is so much more faster paced and the
mm.
arenas aren't nearly as big, so you kind of feel close to the action even though you might, be pretty far away. It's just a super fun environment.
Absolutely. I'm actually thinking about going to that same game.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, I have family out there in Arizona. I'm a Lakers fan, but
Okay.
they are yeah, I'm a Lakers fan. Growing up in Cali, you know how they go.
Yes, yeah.
But they're Celtics fans, so they want to go and watch the Celtics. And I think March is a good time for me to possibly take a little break. So I may come down there. So if I down there, I would definitely have to hit you up.
Yeah, I know. I was just looking at tickets again and I'm like, where am I gonna go? Am I gonna go? But I feel like I have to because
I
they're
think
coming
so.
here. They're in my
Why
backyard. So I'm like, I
why
have to
not?
go.
Why not? You know what I mean? Is
Hmm.
the Patriots coming there? 'Cause I know the Jets is coming there. Is the Patriots coming there?
Yeah, they're coming in December. I think it's December 15th. It's like week 14, week
Are you
15.
going to the game?
Yes, I will be. I'm hoping I can go in a like formal capacity to like cover the game. But if
Hmm.
that doesn't work out, I'll be there. I went and saw them in 2022. I went by myself. I did not care. I was like, I am going to go. Uh it ended up being a good game. Started bad. That was the game Kyler Murray tore his ACL pretty early in the game.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but the Patriots won, so it was a fun game in that regard.
Sure, sure, absolutely. Okay. Now, last of the favorites.
Okay.
Favorite restaurant that you like to eat at out there? I don't know how close you are to the city of Phoenix, but I've been there once, but it was just a drive-through because we were going somewhere else. But I
Mm-hmm.
need to know some good restaurants because I'm definitely coming back there sometime next year.
I am not your girl for that because I am a chain restaurant loving girl. That is me. Bring me to a cheesecake factory and it will be like a little kid at Disneyland. Like that is
Okay,
just the type of person that I am.
that's
Um
okay. That's all
I
right.
Yeah, that I'm just an easy person like that, I like to have my options.
Hmm.
So I love the Cheesecake Factory. That is
Okay.
probably not the funnest answer, but
That is all right. Well, listen, when I come down there, how about we go to the Cheesecake Factory?
yes.
That'd be
Yes,
dope.
let's do
That'd be
that. Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
There is no Cheesecake Factory where I'm at here in Minnesota.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's no. I'm kind of in rural Minnesota, so I'm not. I'm a little bit further away from Minneapolis.
Mhm.
But in rural Minnesota, we don't have a Cheesecake Factory, so I am missing that brown bread. If you remember that brown bread that they
Yes.
bring you, nice warm brown bread. I love that. So
Yes.
no
Yeah, they have
question.
really
Oh,
good crab cakes too.
okay,
Ironically, even in
okay.
Arizona, because I grew up in Boston, lived there till I was 13, and then I moved to Seattle and was there for 10 years. So I've noticed there's quite a difference in the fish from the oceans, as weird as that might sound. I definitely prefer New England, Atlantic Ocean fish,
Mm,
which is not the case. You're in the middle of Arizona, you're surrounded by land, but their crab cakes are actually pretty good. I don't know if it's
okay.
from somewhere else, but they're still pretty good.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so let me talk to you about your day to day. Right, you are editor of this site, Muskrat. Is it Muskrat or Muscat? It's
Muskets, yeah, like the
Muscat.
the muskets from yeah, because for the Patriots in like the 1800s, 1700s.
Sorry about that.
That's
Yes,
okay.
The Musket site of where you guys write about the New England Patriots. I would love to know about your day to day. How many articles you probably do a day, a week? How many writers that you have under you since you're the editor?
Mhm.
What are you guys covering? Are you just covering the games? Are you covering the practices? Trying to break news? What is your day to day as far as waking up and clocking out?
Yeah, so I wake up every day at 7:30, 7:15. Take my doggies out because I have a couple dogs. And then I jump on and I start working because I'm in Arizona right now until the weekend when we do daylight savings. Right now, I'm 3 hours behind Boston. In a few days, I'll be only 2 hours behind. So when I wake up, I already kind of feel behind, because stuff is happening when I'm still asleep. So I like to
Right.
try and get on as early as possible. And we basically just try to write about everything. So we don't have sources, so I'm not somebody that's like an Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter. I can't tell you some inside news, but
Right.
we try to write about everything that's happening, about the games, rumors, trades, stuff going on with the roster, a crazy quote from a player after a loss, anything that you can think of, we try to cover it. And yeah, so I because I'm the editor, I do write the most. But that's because it's my job. I work 40 hours a week. So I'm writing all the time. I have a couple contributors under me right now. It's a little bit harder to get people to join the team because the Patriots aren't doing well. So a lot of people they don't want to take extra time to talk about them. They're not interested in writing about a team that's not performing well, even though that
Sure.
does give you extra content. The unfortunate truth about that you have lots to talk about when they're not playing well. um
Right.
but I don't know how many articles I write in a week, but I can tell you that the past couple of months, I would say October, September, and August, I think at the end of the month I hit about 140 for the month.
Wow.
So that's what I've been doing. That's way too much, but I have a lot to say. I can't stop talking sometimes. So I just put it in writing form, and that's what I've been doing. I just feel when I see something happening, if I feel like, okay, Patriots fans need to know about this, or they need to get our opinion, or what this might mean, I
Sure.
jump on it and want to write about it. So uh, that's what I try to do every day.
I love that. I mean, that's a lot of content of Patriots. But listen, when you're in the content business, you want to continue providing as much content as you possibly can about the
Yeah.
team that you're covering, despite the team struggles. But we know that, like I said, this is a business where it's practice of patience, as far
Yes.
as playing on the field, and as far as getting the results that you want to get. We know that the Patriots are in a pretty tough division. Like I said, I talked about it. Josh Allen's the MVP in my mind of
Mhm.
the league right now, along with Lamar Jackson and a few other people that's could be in that consideration. The Buffalo Bills are one of the top teams, and they're also in the division of the Patriots. So it's
Right.
going to be practice patience with them for a few years. Let Gerard Mayo get his feet wet a little bit and go from there. I want to talk to you about mental health and work life balance because you just told me you do about 140 at least the last 3 months of almost
Mhm.
articles, right? And it seems like that, in this industry, burnout, overworked, underpaid, those words get thrown around a little bit. I've had colleagues leave this industry because of it. Me, I
Mhm.
passionately love doing this. Even as a freelancer, I get to pick up assignments that I want to do, but I also have another job on the side as well. Talk to me about how you maintain your mental health and don't get burnout. And talk to me about how you maintain your work life balance because we don't work regular hours. Something
Right.
may happen where it's late at night, where breaking news may happen. Like, you know what I mean? And people don't understand. We got to be able to make more content happen for our viewers and our viewership. So talk to me about how you handle that.
So mental health stuff has always been a priority of mine because I've um, dealt with anxiety my entire life, as long as I can remember, bouts of depression. So it's always at the forefront of my day, to make sure that I'm doing okay. And if I'm not, like how I need to navigate that. Do I need to take a break? Do I need to step away? Um, the good thing is too, because I work hard and I tend to overwork myself.
Mm,
Fansided has been really great in that regard. My boss has been really awesome and constantly checking in on me to make sure, because he knows how much I'm doing, and he's like, Sarah, you don't need to be doing this much, don't burn yourself out, please. take
mhm.
take log off. Like he this week, because I'm taking PTO today and tomorrow, and then I'm off. He's like, don't log in. You deserve days off. And I have a hard
Well,
time doing that. I have a hard time completely shutting off. That's just how my brain is wired. But
mm,
I'm it's an active effort. I need to remember to like live in the moment, have fun, try to find other things that I can do that make me happy and that can preoccupy me, so I'm not worried about what's going on. So something like the wrestling live stream and podcast that I have, that's something that I have a lot of fun doing, and that kind of helps me break away from work mode, because it's another thing that I'm super passionate about. I get to do it with one of my best friends, and talking about it, something that I enjoy watching every week. So I just try to pay attention to how I'm feeling, what my brain is telling me, what my body is telling me, and make sure that I don't neglect that, to make sure that I'm okay first. And if I
absolutely.
feel like I can't do something, if I am like, all right, I need to do this, and my body's like, no, then I don't do it. So I'm trying to get better about that, and just continue prioritizing myself, which is something that I have not been good at historically. So
You and me both. I mean,
yeah.
listen, it's an ongoing process, right? But when you're in
Yeah.
this industry, it's very hard to shut it off. It is because we're so used to a routine of just
Hmm.
doing things, and we naturally grab our phones, we check for stuff, we want to look for stuff, and we want to write stuff because we're writers.
Yes.
That's what we naturally do, and I totally understand that because it's hard to shut it off over here as well. So
Yeah.
that's a terrific answer. I also want to ask you though about advice. Like, what is advice that you would give somebody that you want to either bring on the team or somebody that wants to uh, join this journalism field of writing and being in sports and even podcasting? What advice would you give an individual that wants to do that?
Ooh, I feel like there's so many things, but I think the one of the biggest things is that you want to make sure you love what you're doing,
Mm,
because a lot of times people are like, I love this team, right? Let's like, for me, I'm a Patriots fan, and I'm
okay.
like, you know what? I want to cover the Patriots. Sometimes that's not a good mix. You end up actually not liking it because you have to look at the team in a different light than just being a
Right.
fan. And
Just unbiased, right.
yes, and it can be hard, because
Mhm.
sometimes you just want to watch a game as a fan, and you can't do that when you're covering the team. And so sometimes that can make people detract their fandom. And I think that it's, uh being able to, we're talking about balance, being able to balance that and still be a fan, but covering the team. I feel like it's, yeah, passion. You have to like what you're doing. Because if you don't, it's really hard to do this every single day, because things aren't always about the team winning, or maybe they're not doing something that you like or approve of, but you
Yeah.
have to write about it, and it's not always easy when you've got your fan cap on. You just have to, like you said, be unbiased and just put it out there. But that passion is what's going to make you thrive in this industry and move up if that's what you want to do. So I think that's the biggest thing, because you can kind of figure it out early on if this isn't what you really want to do. but it's that drive, that passion that's gonna really make you become like a highlight in whatever for whatever team that you're covering, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it's perfect. Perfect sense. No question, Sarah. I mean, people think sometimes it's a glamorous thing of what we
Mhm.
do as far as sports journalism, right? They see the ESPN, they see the people on ABC talking in the broadcast sense, but they also see people with credentials on the field in the print sense of writing stuff. And sometimes they get a misconception. And this is one of the
Mhm.
biggest reasons why I do this podcast and have this platform is that to educate people that there's a side and a B side to this, right? The A
Right.
side is what you're talking about, writing articles and doing what we love to do and talking all kind of content and really having that banter between not only your colleagues but the viewers that view your stuff, the viewership, the fans, people that read the articles and subscribe to your stuff. But the B side is the hours. The hours could be
Right.
long. Sometimes you do miss events. Sometimes you do miss holidays. Sometimes you do miss different things with your family because you're
Right.
so busy and tied up into the sports game because sports is all year round. There is no
Mhm.
off season with sports like that. So you miss it sometimes, and then you don't understand that it takes a lot of work to do what you do, and it's not just about the glamorous thing. And pay is another thing too. People think,
Right.
well, man, they must be getting well paid, and that is totally a misconception,
Yeah.
and there's no question about that. So it's great business to be in. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world, but it is something that you have to consider. You got to consider all the variables before you make a decisive decision on whether or
Right.
not you want to be a part of it.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So I'll definitely want to get into your wrestling podcast. I've watched a couple of different episodes with you and Pitts.
Mhm.
First of all, I want to know how did you or what was the behind starting it? What is some things that you typically talk about on a daily basis? You just recap the shows of maybe Monday night or SmackDown, and then what are your thoughts on Crown Jewel? Crown Jewel's coming up this Saturday with some of the champion versus champion fights that's happened. I know last night Rhea Ripley took a beating.
She did.
No question about that with Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan getting to her. So talk to me about what you think about what's going on with the wrestling atmosphere and your podcast.
So Pat and I actually met through social media. We met through Twitter, ironically, and we first started talking because of the Patriots. He lives in outside of Boston, and we were just sharing that commonality between us. And at some point, I don't even remember how it got brought up or who brought it up, but we mentioned wrestling, and it was like a door opened up, and like a flood came through. It was like, oh my god, you like wrestling. Like, this is incredible. And so we said one day, like, why don't we try a podcast, because we're talking about wrestling anyway, and there is such a platform out there to, on YouTube or even just audio podcasts, that plenty of people listen to stuff of people talking about wrestling. So why don't we try that? We eventually moved it to YouTube, and that just became something that we do 3 times a week now. We
Mm.
recap Monday Night Raw on Tuesdays. We recap SmackDown on Saturdays. And then we also have a Thursday show that we call the Super Show. And that is when we talk about everything. So it's not limited to WWE. We'll talk about AEW. We'll talk about TNA. We'll talk about the
Yeah,
indies. Like, we'll do everything. So that's been great because Pat is an AEW fan. I'm not. I don't watch AEW. I only watch WWE. But it exposes me and the people that watch us to other companies that they might not watch, which is pretty cool. We're actually going to be talking about Crown Jewel today. That after I'm done with you, I'm going to be streaming with him to talk about Crown Jewel. And I'm excited about Crown Jewel. I think it's going to be a good show. There's 7 matches on the card, which is higher than the Triple H favorite number of 5 on every PLE. Um, I I it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because the main championships are not being defended. So that's quite a change, but they are going to be competing for that new Crown Jewel title.
right.
So that kind of throws a interesting aspect into those matches, especially, you don't really want to see either of your top champions lose. And if we're talking about the men, Cody Rhodes losing, I don't
Yep.
know, like it makes it a little bit more unpredictable. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really fun show. I think they definitely have some matches on there that are going to be really good. I've already kind of predicted that the triple threat for the US title might be the match that seals the show. I think
Without question.
Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, and LA Knight are going to bring the house down. I think that might be the sleeper match. And I'm so excited. And it's on at 10 a.m. for me. So it's like I wake up, kind of chill, and then I get to watch wrestling for a few hours. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask what was your sleeper match, and that was mine. That
Yes.
Andrade, Carmelo, and that LA Knight, that just storyline has been so good between those
Yes.
three, and they're
Yeah.
three really talented wrestlers. But they're all three different style
Right.
wrestlers as well.
Yes.
I think it just meshes well with them. I think they're going to steal the show. The match for me that probably would be a snoozer is Nia Jax and Liv Morgan. I don't really see that match being going too long. They're just way too different in
Yeah.
size, and ability. I don't really think that match is going to go long. Interesting match is definitely going to be Gunther and Rhodes.
Oh my god.
Gunther is
I love
very,
Gunther.
yeah, I love Gunther too, and that match is going to be very interesting.
Yeah. It's gonna be tricky because, both are the champions, and it's like Cody getting pinned might be like, "Oh, is that the right move?" But like Gunther being pinned, like I don't like that either. It's like,
Right,
okay, is the bloodline gonna get involved? Is Kevin Owens gonna get involved because he's got beef
boy.
with Cody? So that makes it a little bit even. I mean, it's an added layer to the interesting factor that I think can come out of these, because they're not really predictable, which is nice
Right.
because there's plenty of PLEs that are easy to be like, okay, this person's winning, this person's winning this one. I don't think that's the case with this one, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that Randy Orton Kevin Owens match is probably going to be the best one.
Oh
The
yeah.
sleeper match is the what we talked about, United States title. But the
Mm-hmm.
best match of them probably all is going to be those two because the storyline just sets up. I
Yeah.
think that match could be really good with Randy and Kevin. So I'm looking forward to. I don't know if I'll be able to see Crown Jewel, but all of it, because if it's coming on at 10 for you, that's probably going to be 12 for me, 12 noon for me.
Yes.
So, and I definitely have to work on Saturday. So I will miss a little bit of it, but to be able to recap and to see it would be pretty awesome. And
Oh yeah.
I loved how you guys came up with that, right? Meeting on Twitter is great to network. You guys are likewise Patriots fans and built up this podcast. And you guys got over what 2.08 subscribers. I mean, you guys
Yep.
have done almost 2,000 videos. That's
Yep.
amazing. No question about it. So anybody that will listen to this interview, please go subscribe to Sarah and Pitt's Wrestling Show. They do such a great job. Obviously, 3 nights a week, like you said. So
Mhm.
definitely, please subscribe to that. AEW, I thought they've been interesting. I've watched them a little bit. You know, Bobby Lashley is now over there now.
Mhm.
And a lot of stars that left WWE have went over to AEW, and then there's been a couple stars that left AEW came to WWE. What do you think about all the mixing and matching that they're been doing?
I think it was expected. I think we're definitely in a different time. Like if you are a long-term wrestling fan, then you might remember the hostility between WWE and TNA in like the mid 2000s, the
Sure.
2010s, and it was a huge deal for a talent from one company to jump ship to the other company. And I think it's still there a little bit with AEW and WWE, but at the same time, it's not as much of like shock anymore.
Mhm.
Because I think WWE is trying to be a little bit better with not having so many people on their roster that like aren't ever on TV the way that it
Mhm.
was for a lot of the time during the Vince McMahon era. So yeah, it's expected that if those people are released, they're going to go to AEW. And I think for some people in AEW, it's their first job in wrestling, like outside of the indies, and they're kind of using it as a launching pad to get to WWE. So I think we're going to probably see a lot of that ending up happening, other than the ones who are going to be like, okay, we are, a cornerstone of AEW, so they're going to be there forever. I think that
Yeah.
we're going to see some more jumping ship. But I'm happy for some of the people that have moved. If we want to talk about like Swerve Strickland, he was not used very well in WWE, and he's an absolute star in AEW. And then you can
Yep.
say the same for Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, coming to WWE again. He's a huge star. Jade Cargill is a huge star. So
Without question.
it's really fun to see as a fan, because you don't have to watch both companies, but you can pay attention to what's going on. And it's cool to see people who might not have been used properly in one company become somebody big, and like seeing their full potential in the other company. Like, I think that that's pretty fun. So I think we'll still see it. I think it's going to be hard for some AEW talent to never go to a WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
if we're
Sure.
talking about what they watched growing up, it was WWE, it was WrestleMania. So I really wouldn't be surprised if we see some more big names jump over, which would be interesting over the next few years.
Speaking of that, I definitely plan on being in attendance at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, which is next April 19th, April 20th. Very interesting that they're going to have a WrestleMania on 420, but
Yep.
but that's pretty cool. Do you plan on going to any pay-per-view events?
Yeah, so we already are going to Vegas. We already planned that we're going. Um
Okay.
we still want to go to WrestleMania, but the tickets are so outrageous for this
Yeah, the
show
cheapest
this
one
year.
was 800. 800.
Yeah, I was shocked because we went to WrestleMania 40, and we sat in the 100 level in one of, like, if you're looking at it from a football field, because this was at the Eagles
Philadelphia.
state. Yeah, we were in one of the end zones 100 section, and for both nights, like, I paid 1300 total for my tickets for night 1 and night 2. I
Okay.
can't get one ticket for like 1300 for 41. So depending on if we can find decent seats or not is going to determine if we go. Regardless, we're going to be in Vegas. We'll be going to the SmackDown before, the NXT before, and the Raw after. It's just up in the air if we're going to be in attendance at Mania, or if we're going to be in Vegas but watching Mania somewhere else. So it's kind of
Well,
up in the air
definitely,
right now.
I'm definitely going to hit you up. There's no
Yeah.
question. I'm 100% sure I will be there in Vegas.
Okay,
There's no
awesome.
question.
Yeah, it's
No
gonna be
question.
fun. It's a really fun environment for a WrestleMania, especially compared to Philly. Like, no disrespect to Philly, but it's not necessarily a travel destination, you know?
Right.
So,
I mean,
quite a
you
difference
comparing,
in atmosphere and
yeah,
weather. I was
yeah,
freezing in Philly. That won't be the
right.
case.
There still could be possible snow. We're talking Vegas. Vegas is probably going to be just right, not
Yes.
scorching hot, but definitely not cold. So I
Yeah.
love that. And like I
Yeah.
said, it's the middle of towards the end of April. I'm excited because I haven't been in the same city of a WrestleMania since I believe 27 when I was living in
Oh,
Atlanta.
wow.
And that was Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so that was when I was in the same city as that. So my brother and I are definitely going to be going to WrestleMania for sure. Like I said, we would hit you up, and
Yes.
yeah, we got to hang out, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanna ask you now because we're at the point of the this or that. So the
Okay.
interactive game that I normally do, I throw out two things, and you just choose this or that. Are you ready?
Okay.
All
Yes.
right, here we go. Which restaurant would you rather go to, Popeyes or KFC?
Ooh. Is it sad that I have never eaten at either one?
It's a little that breaks my heart a little
I'm
bit, a little bit.
sorry.
It's
Um,
okay.
okay. I'm gonna say Popeyes because I have heard so much more about their chicken in recent years
Okay.
than KFC. So I'm gonna say Popeyes.
So if you don't get a chance to try Popeyes before I get out there, let's try
Hmm.
Popeyes.
Okay.
How about that? If
Deal.
you don't get a chance to do it, but if you do, please hit me up and let me know how you like it. Because Popeyes
Got
will
it.
change your life. No question.
Okay.
Here we go. Chicken wing flavors. Barbecue and lemon pepper.
Barbecue.
Okay. Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Dry.
Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Boneless. I
Oh,
know. I'm one of
Okay.
those. I'm one of the ones that eats glorified chicken nuggets.
That's
But
okay. That's
that's
all right.
just yeah.
No judgment here. No judgment here at all because it's still meat and it's still good. So that's all that
Yes.
matters. I love
Hmm.
it. Which wrestler would you rather interview on your podcast? The Rock or Stone Cold?
Stone Cold, hands down.
Okay.
Oh yeah. He was so cool and is still so cool. I would love to just pick his brain.
Okay. Which wrestler would you rather interview on your podcast? The Undertaker or John Cena?
Oh, John Cena, please. Oh, geez, Louise. He's my all-time favorite. I love him, so I would love to talk to him.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Which wrestler would you rather interview? Would you rather interview Rhea Ripley or Charlotte Flair?
Ooh. I think Rhea because I like how much she had to like scratch and claw her way to get into wrestling and from Australia and to be taken seriously and to get to WWE and just the dramatic change that we've seen of her like becoming who she is. I would really like to be able to talk to her about that because it's so cool.
I feel you on that. I like that. Which wrestling, I would say tag team, would you rather interview? Would you rather interview the Usos or the Miz and R-Truth?
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna say the awesome truth because that would be so fun. Like the Usos would be great, but I would probably not be able to stop laughing if I had the Miz and R Truth to talk to. Like they are
You ain't
so
never
funny.
lied. They are
R
comical.
Truth is brilliant. Like he's so good. I would just love to hear anything that he would have to say.
I love that. I love that. Okay. This next one has to do with a sport. Which
Okay.
sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Ooh, bowling
Are you a good
because
bowler?
so okay, so um bowling in New England is
Uh-huh.
or it's quite different. So I don't know if people are aware of like the different types of bowling.
Okay.
But there's candlepin in Massachusetts and that is with a ball that's like this big. There's no finger holes and the pins are just straight up and down. So it's actually a lot more difficult. And
Mm-hmm.
that was how I grew up playing like going bowling. Um, but and so I don't know, I'm not good at bowling in general, like if you're talking about bowling, but I have fun doing it.
Well,
Um,
that's
I'm
all right.
I'm not very coordinated. So that's why I cannot do anything with a ball and a racket or a birdie and a racket. I can't. I am horrible. So
Okay.
if you
Okay.
wanted
So
a good laugh, I could do that, but
let me ask you this. What sport would you play what sport would you say that if you played, you'd be dominant in?
I always have said I wished I could play football because I can get super competitive and like I always wish like I said if I was born a man and had the opportunity to play football with the boys, I wanted to be a pass rusher so bad. Like that would be so fun to just go after quarterbacks. So that would be my dream, honestly.
Okay. Which sport would you say if you played, you would absolutely suck in?
Ooh. Um Baseball.
Wow.
Yeah, no. Yeah, hand-eye coordination bad. I can't swing and hit the ball. Absolutely not. No, could not do it. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I would yeah. I mean, I guess if I had to be like it would be like a designated hitter, so I would only come out like once every however many days, but still, no, just not good. Not good.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me ask this question and then two more for this or that. That would be, do you like desserts?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna throw four categories at you. You have to choose one of these you'll never eat again. Okay.
Oh, ooh, okay.
Yep. Nice hypothetical. Here we go.
Mhm.
The first one is cookies. The next one is cake.
Mhm.
The third one is candy. The last one is ice cream. Which one are you getting rid of? You'll never eat again.
I think I'm gonna have to pick candy.
That's what I'm talking about, girl. I knew
Yeah,
that. I
Yeah,
knew
because
that.
you can get all of that delicious goodness from everything else. You can
Yes,
get
you
your
can.
chocolate fix, you can get your sugar fix from everything else. You don't need the candy. Just give me some chocolate cake, give me some brownies, give me some ice cream. Yes,
Sarah, right
please.
now we vibing, girl, and we are
Yes.
vibing. We are here, and we are like time zones away, and we still
Yeah.
vibe. I love that.
Now
I
I'm
love that.
hungry.
Absolutely, right? Okay. Now, this next one, same format. Do you like potato chips?
Yes.
Okay. So, same format. I'm going to throw four brands at you. You got to get rid of one of these. You'll never eat again. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. First one is Doritos. The
Mm.
next one is Lay's. The third one is Pringles. The last one is Ruffles. Which one are you getting rid of?
Ooh. I think I think it's gonna have to be Ruffles.
Oh, hell no. No, you did not just say, bro.
You know
No, you
why? Because oh my gosh, okay. They are so good, but
didn't.
the only difference is the ridges, right? So
Okay.
that's my argument.
Okay.
That's my only argument.
The Ridges. Listen, I feel it. I meant to say no judgment, but hell no, we can't do that on this.
What would
We
you get
can't
rid of then?
Lay's, no
Oh,
question.
okay. Okay.
Yes.
I was waiting for you to say Pringles or something.
No, no, I can't get rid of Pringles because Pringles are the easiest ones to access. When you put your hand in the bag, you never know how many chips you're gonna grab. But the
Yeah.
Pringles, you can cuff the Pringles and get that, get that. So yeah, the
Yes.
Lay's. The reason why the Lay's is because to me that they're the saltiest of the four chips. And I
Mhm.
can't get rid of Doritos because I love me some nacho cheese and Cool Ranch, and they have
Yeah.
different flavors. I can't get rid of Pringles because I'm in love with the barbecue and the sour cream Pringles. And then the greatest chip ever made with the Ruffles was sour cream and cheddar. That's the greatest chip ever made.
I've never had that one. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I'm
Ruffles, you
getting rid of
never
it.
had sour cream and cheddar Ruffles?
Mm-mm.
Oh, girl, you need to go to a grocery store. I don't know what the grocery stores out there is. I don't know if it's Vons, Albertsons, or Ralph's or whatever's out there. You need to go get you some, okay?
I'll look the next time I'm there.
No doubt, no doubt. I got two more questions for you before I let you get on up out of here. The next
All right.
question is the top four, okay?
Okay.
Top four questions. I want to know what is the top four wrestlers that you would like to, that we haven't mentioned, I should say, that you would like to interview if you had like a bucket list on your podcast? Who would you like to interview?
I would say Drew McIntyre.
Okay, my man.
Um, Finn Balor.
Ooh, that's
I
the
love Finn Balor.
demon. I love
Yes.
that.
Um, Becky Lynch
The man. Okay.
and who else? Ooh. This is gonna be a curveball, but they're one of my ooh. Yes, I think this one would be fun just because I think it would be super fun. Pretty Deadly. I love Pretty Deadly.
Oh my
So
God. Those guys are something else, man.
I love them so much. I swear I'm like their biggest fan. So I would be in heaven to talk to them. Just yeah, they're so good.
I love that. I do. I do. I love that. That's a pretty good list, by the way. Those
Thank
wrestlers are
you.
amazing. No question about it. I always love asking wrestling purists of this. And this is another top three before I let you get on up out of here. The top three would be pay-per-views.
Okay.
And so I will give you an example. My number one all-time pay-per-view outside of WrestleMania, which is the Super Bowl, so we're not going to put that on the list. Royal Rumble, which would
Mhm.
be number one for me. Number two is Survivor Series, and then number three would be SummerSlam.
Okay.
What is your top three?
Royal Rumble is my number one as well.
Okay.
Um, I'm excited that it seems like it's getting better again, you know.
Hmm.
Um, what else would I say? Okay, we're gonna go a little old school, but No Way Out, which is what Elimination Chamber.
That was definitely the jam back then. No
Yeah,
question.
and I'm gonna say I think I might go with yours as well, SummerSlam. SummerSlam has like a little special place in my heart because I went to SummerSlam in 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013 and made like a big trip out of it. We went from Sacramento and drove down to LA, and so we did a bunch of shows down California. So yeah, SummerSlam has a little special place for me. So it would be and
Yeah,
it's so much it's going to 2 nights next year. So it's going to be like WrestleMania of the summer.
it is. And 26 is actually coming out here to Minnesota in
Yeah.
2026 for 2 nights. So that's pretty interesting. Definitely going to be at that one for sure. And yeah, I mean, wrestling is just growing in general, and but it's getting better with entertainment. I think it kind of fell
Yes.
off a little bit after the Attitude Era, especially with
Mm-hmm.
WWE. But now it's generating so much revenue and so much growth back now that the pandemic is over and people are allowed to, in back in stadiums. The content is just getting much better. The storylines is getting much better. The storytelling is getting much better, and everything. So I love that. This has been pretty dope, Sarah. It's been pretty dope talking to you on my podcast, getting to know you a little bit about what you like to do, what you do as far as editing, the New England Patriots, your podcast, which has over 2,000 subscribers, but also almost 2,000 videos as well. Listen, I want you to keep doing your thing. I'm a new fan of yours and Pitt's. I can't wait to meet you in person because now we know we definitely both gonna be in Vegas for WrestleMania. So that's gonna be totally dope. Um,
Yes.
as I always do, I'll ask this: is there anything else that you would like to add about yourself or promote, or any advice or anything that you want to say before we conclude?
I have nothing else to promote, but I would just say advice wise, because I'm trying to live my life this way too, is just take it day by day. Be excited about the things that are happening. Look forward to the future, but don't dwell on everything. That's something that I do a lot. I dwell on the past, I dwell on the future. I'm never focused on the right now, and I'm trying to switch my mind to be more on that path, if that makes sense. So that would just be my advice. Just try to live in the moment and embrace every teeny tiny little success that you have.
I love that. I love that. I really do. Great advice. Well said. Once again, please go and subscribe to Sarah and Pitt's Wrestling Podcast, and also take a look at Sarah's articles on Musket, via on the Musket website, I should say, via Fansided about the New England Patriots. Patience, Patriots fans, patience.
Yes.
And then we'll make it do what it do. So, take care, Sarah. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday afternoon, and you and I would definitely be in touch.
Thank you so much. Bye.